This is Not the Average Real Estate Podcast by Not Your Average Real Estate Investor. Dipna Boholt used real estate investing strategies to completely replace the income from her accountancy practice with passive income in just 18 months and has since taught thousands of others to do the same. Welcome to the I Love Real Estate Podcast.
Hi guys, it's Dipna Boholt here. Don't know whether you've heard or not, but I'm starting a new series. And it's a series of really showcasing some of my students and what they've been able to do in what spaces of time. Now I find this really, really important because what I know is when you can see exactly what someone does and how they do it and how they achieve the kind of results that you want to get yourself, it's not only educational, it's inspirational, it's motivational, and I know it's going to change literally hundreds, if not thousands of people's lives. So in this series, I'm going to showcase people's stories. And what we do every year at the end of the year is we have this conference called the I Love Real Estate Super Conference. And it's this massive big 3-day event. It's a lot of fun. And I bring students on stage and they share their deals. They share where they were before I Love Real Estate and what they've been able to do after I Love Real Estate and, blow by blow exactly what happens. So I thought it'd be great to actually share these stories with everybody so that you get to see just how much education can make a massive, massive difference in the turnaround and what you can actually do and how much money you can make. It speeds things up. So I'm going to share with you their story. We're going to go through and we're going to play it for you very shortly. Now at the end of their story, I've got a very special gift for you. So stay tuned, enjoy their story. The story I'm going to play for you first is Peter. Now Peter's someone who is from the building industry, but he found himself in a partnership that was losing money and they had debts of over $100,000 and the partnership wasn't going well and the whole thing was falling apart. And he was like, oh my God, what do I do now? I'm a successful builder, but I've got all of this mess to clean up. So he joined I Love Real Estate. Now, he was actually astounded as to how much he didn't know, even though he'd been in the industry for years. And over a few short years, with what he learnt and put into practice, he first of all had to clean up some of the messy legal stuff, and obviously that's some of the stuff that we teach as well. And then be able to put that into deals and what kind of deals suited him and why, and the turning it around into a cash flow position. So, in the space of a few short years, he's been able to get close to, a couple of $100,000 worth of passive income. He's been able to grow his portfolio to, nearly $2 million in that space of time. I know you're going to love his story. You have a listen and see what you think. Now, remember, I've got that gift for you on the other side. So just hang on, I'll see you on the other side. Bye now. Where's your gorgeous wife and why isn't she up here? She's just down there, is she? I can see her. She's hiding.
She is hiding.
She's taking pictures now.
Oh, good.
So tell us about you, Peter.
Okay. Well, I've been building most of my life. I am a builder and done most things in residential building, except for like high-rise. So I think it was about 5 years ago, we sort of had a bit of a messy business partnership breakdown, and it put us in a bit of a hole. So we just had to find our way out.
Now, I think for you, you're very typical of a lot of people who are in the industry, where they get very caught up in their area of the industry, but don't have the knowledge to step back to the bigger picture of where am I actually heading with all of this? They're just so busy doing the doing, and in your case it's building, but it might be plumbing, it might be town planning, it might be all of those other affiliated industries, that you don't actually have a bigger focus. Like, what am I doing all this for?
Yeah, spot on.
And I think when I first saw you all those years ago, that's where your head was at. It's like, I'm just working really hard and I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, pretty well, yeah. Well, I think everyone sort of goes into doing what they know, and you try and do the best you can.
Which is good, but it's good to have a bigger plan.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did you end up with I Love Real Estate? And how did you end up with My Platinum Group?
Well, I think it's the typical way that probably 90% people see the advertisement for the one day. You go along. I think I went to 2, actually.
Did you?
In Sydney.
Didn't convince you the first time, huh?
Yeah, actually, I took my ex-business partner with me to the second one, but he wasn't interested, and that's probably
I
worked.
remember that.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, I do,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I liked what I heard. I think that's what I said. I liked what I heard, and so I thought I'll go to I think it was a boot camp in the Gold Coast.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
And then you heard about Platinum and thought, well, all in.
Well, I liked when I went to the 3-day. There's a lot of stuff that I found a little bit boring, like the
Thanks.
insurance. No, not your bit. No, just all the.
Clint will be really happy with
Oh,
you
well,
saying
yeah.
that.
You got to be honest.
Probably wasn't him back then saying it.
It wasn't actually.
No.
So yeah, I just liked it, and as I've said, we applied. I think at the end of the boot camp, so it was only a matter of maybe 4 weeks since I went to the first one-dayer to when I applied to go into Platinum.
Okay, all right.
So you let me in.
I did let you in. So your original position back then, because you'd had, it's a bit like divorce. You have a business breakdown, you lose money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Big time.
So you basically walked away there, didn't you?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well. Well, as you can see, like it's. You might think that that's a nice little bit of equity here and there, but it's not much. And what we put into the business, well, that went, and.
But you're negatively getting $104,000 a year.
Yeah, well, plus that credit card debt as well.
Which is not good.
No.
50 grand's a decent credit card debt.
It was 2 credit cards, yeah.
Yeah, no, not good.
Yeah.
So you've got to do manufactured growth because we've got to rebuild your equity.
Yep.
The manufactured growth strategy you chose was a subdivision.
Yeah. Well, this is just a small, typical look, it was end of a cul-de-sac, big block of land. I think from memory it was about 1,300 square metres, and so it was just subdivided. I did that with our son to try and give him a bit of education.
Yep.
Bit of a chunk deal. So yeah, look, a little bit of profit, only 6 or 7 months, and I didn't see any of that profit, of course.
You gave it to the son, did you?
Yeah, that's right.
So this was really just a gimme for the son.
Pretty well.
Yeah, get him going.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one after that?
Yeah, okay. I did that with, I'm not sure whether Bev is still in Platinum, is she? Bev McLeod? No, anyway, so we did that. In fact, that's probably a couple of years ago at least, might be more. And so we bought a big block of land. It was a JV. We renovated the house. We got a subdivision and we got a DA to build a second house, but we didn't go ahead with any of the construction. So we just sold it as a package.
Okay, both picked up 25 odd grand.
Yeah, it was good. That one I did get some.
You did get some.
I got some of that one, yeah.
It's hard to pay off some credit card then.
Yeah.
So what about this one here?
Yeah, well, this is where it starts to get very interesting. This is...
bigger.
Well, this is something that you don't have to be a builder to do, and to me, it's one of the best strategies I've ever seen. And you'll see some numbers, but if I go through it, like that slide showing for sale, it actually says 790,000, but it originally was on the market for 950. So it was a distress sale, and it was unfortunate because the guy that we bought it from had actually put that road in, like an 18-metre wide road, and he got a 5-block subdivision approved through council.
So it was DA approved already?
It was DA approved, yes.
Shovel ready?
Yeah, pretty well. But
so what attracted you to this property?
You told me, we had the last meeting I think I went to in Platinum, we were at Twin Waters, and you started talking about commercial. So Kerry actually said, well, that sounds like a pretty good idea. So when we did our research, we were looking for something that had a bit of
commercial in it?
Yeah. And that one ticked a lot of the boxes, and as we'd been going down to Nowra for many years, like I used to ride a surfboard when I was a teenager, and I used to ride it out Culburra, which is not far from Nowra. So I knew the area pretty well. And South Nowra, if anyone knows it, has exploded. It's got Bunnings and McDonald's, Harvey Norman, all the biggies. So, look, 715,000 we negotiated, and we probably, at that time, if you just go back if you can.
Sorry.
At the time, we probably only had 20% to put into that deal, and when we go through that, you'll see that pretty well that was just about all we did put into this deal. And, you know, we had friends that were pretty good around financials, and they basically said, don't buy that, put that into your business, you know, put it back into your business, you need to. Well, we said, well, no, we've got to do it. So what happened there is, when you look at the shape of that block of land, say down in where the blocks are in blue, it's on a corner block. So the lot 1, we were able to subdivide that by itself because it had the services on the existing road.
Okay, so we squeezed another block out.
So we got that block, we sold that one, and we sold that one, that gave us 250,000. So we're sort of thinking, well, okay, if we sold all of them, we'd be in front a little bit of money, but that wasn't our plan. The 250,000 was basically used for, we had to put in the high voltage underground power. And I think from memory it was about $160,000, plus street lights, things like that, a lot of money. And also, of course, we had to, we knew that there was other costs, that the contributions or extortion money, whatever you want to call it, that you give to the council. So that was a lot of money. So the 250,000 basically gave us the funds to finish the subdivision so that we then had the 4 blocks of land. And as you can see, our original plan was to develop 1 block at a time. Mm-hmm. And because we had a very good zoning, it was like B5, which is business development, and we could have put bulk storage, anything, but we thought we'll just do 1 at a time, maybe do 4 factories on each one, and well,
see what happens.
See what happens, and then we ended up deciding against that, and it was part of our research. We went looking at the major shopping centre, Stocklands I think it is, and we just sort of sat there, Kerry and I had a coffee, and we just noticed how many young children there were. There's just full of young children. So obviously, first thing Kerry said, well, what about a childcare centre? So we went on with that, and we thought, yeah, okay, look, we knew a little bit about childcare centres. So we ended up deciding to sell 3, 4 and 5, which a government buyer bought that. And then we thought, okay, now it's time to go for our kindergarten.
So you've made money at this stage, and you've got a block left that you can build a childcare centre on.
Yes.
Okay, so This is the childcare centre?
That's the finished product. It was on a rainy day, as you can see, but it's a pretty big childcare centre. You know, 96 places is, and it has at least 8 rooms, 8 big rooms, similar to the one down that picture down the bottom, and it has about 20 miniature toilets, and but it's all touch screens and things like that. You've probably seen some in the new childcare centres where they touchy-feely stuff and a little bit of technology and iPads everywhere. And the fellow that we actually went and we negotiated a lease with him, he actually owns about 6 or 7. And one of them is in North Nowra, so he wanted this as his flagship. So we went and we got specialised. We put an A team together, and it is a little bit specialised, but by name, I would recommend everyone has a look at this sort of strategy, because it's just, I won't call it a licence to print money, but when you have a look at the figures, had we have put factories on there, each of those blocks are around about 2,260 square metres, so they're pretty big blocks. We could have probably, say, put 4 factories on there, maybe, say, 300 square metres, 1,200 square metres of factory. Well, that probably, in current times, that would probably cost around about 1.4 million to build 4 factories. As you can see there, the construction cost was 1.1. The contract was about 1.1 million and 18, I think, and extras come in, of course, towards the end. So, great builder. We found a local builder down there.
You didn't build it?
I didn't build it, no. But, you know, we spent every second weekend going down. It's about 160 k's south of Sydney. Kerry and I used to just drive down, do a lot of talking, a lot of strategy, and that 2 hours was sensational. You know, we just sort of went down and bit of togetherness. So as you can see, the lease was signed before we actually started construction. That was the secret. Because we were able to go to the bank with a 15-year lease with 3 10-year options, and also 6 months worth of rent in a trust account. So basically the bank were happy to give us the finance by just using that block of land that at that stage we owned. So the current
The
valuation...
lease on that's pretty good, like $190,000 a year in year one.
Well, actually, like it's a funny thing, but I think we got dudded a little bit.
Did you now?
Yeah, seriously, because the way it goes, the way that you actually value, like how much should a lease be, it's sort of somewhere around about $2,000 per child per year.
That's right.
But that's a regional centre, so obviously in a city or the metropolitan areas, it's much, much higher. So $2,000 per child per year is, as you can see, 96 times 2 would be around about that 190. But we have 3.5% increases, as you do on a lease, and at a 6% yield, which is generally what childcares are valued at, 6%, thereabouts, sometimes a little bit under that. But that turns out around a valuation of 3.16, and every year it goes up $100,000. And
Pretty good.
yeah, but again, the next point down there, all outgoings and all the fit out, like fitting it out, the people that actually took the lease actually put in about $350,000 worth of equipment and softfall, and they did all the outdoor area and everything. So it was good. Stainless steel kitchens. So when you get all of the outgoings paid for you,
Yeah. And 190 grand coming in, increasing by 3.5% every year is not too bad.
yeah, it's fantastic. It really dug us out of a hole, big hole.
So you've got great income now, obviously coming in.
Yep.
But it's still, you still need to build up equity chunks because, you got a pretty big hit by the failure of the partnership in the building industry. So, I guess the game plan now is get Kerry back into the designer house that she wants. Is that the story?
Basically, yeah.
Thought so.
Yeah. Well, while this has all been happening, we again...
You had to sell your house.
Yeah, again, an advice from you that we did that, and that helped. That sort of helped dig us out of a pretty big hole.
Well, it was either that or bankruptcy.
Yeah, right, actually. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, and that's the way, exactly what we were told. So we either had to get over it and get on with it, or go under.
But you did. You did. You got over it, and you've turned it around, which is great credit to the both of you. But now it's about let's reclaim where you were before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Well, this is a dual occupancy that we decided to do because we also sold. We had an office, as you might have seen in our original equity, that was then worth $700. We actually sold it in January this year for $970,000, I think it was. So it will be paying for the construction cost of that duplex. So we're just waiting for council at the moment. It's only been in there for about 5.5 months. So.
But a nice little pick-up there, another $500,000 pick-up on that one.
Yeah, well, half of that will be ours, but the other half will go to that one's done with our daughter. And
so that's another gimme for the kids, is it?
Yeah, well, half of it. But no, they're putting in money.
Okay.
It's actually 50-50, so it's all good. All good there.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
So what are some of the more important things for you than property?
Well, as I say there, just one suggestion from you, and that was probably about 3.5 years ago, it sort of started a chain reaction from, a point where we were $104,000 negative plus a big credit card debt, all that sort of thing, and then all of a sudden that thought that you've planted in our mind has sort of germinated and we've run with it. So it's, obviously we thank you very much, but I think it's just one of those moments, and that's why I said to Greg before, I said, I'd like to just say to everyone, just have a look at this strategy, because, you might sort of think that some areas got too many childcare centres, and that's true. A lot of them do. So, but there are companies that will actually tell you where there's an oversupply and also where there's an undersupply. And so if you've got a big block of land, that's even better, because obviously the strategy works when you've got more children, and at $2,000 per child, it's much, much better for your lease. Much better, yeah.
And now you deliver Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, well, that's something, and I'm sure there's other people who do the same sort of thing. Meals on Wheels, I get 10 times the value that I give out. Like, it's just if you ever want to have a bit of a sook or you think you want to have a whinge, you just go out and do something like that, and then you realise you've got nothing to complain about. So, yeah, and I also get a game of golf every now and then, which is good, and I still work on putting deals together.
Very
What's
good.
the last one? Oh, got to say that last one.
You,
Let me go back to that last one. And it's true. You know, I've said this before. You know, we've always been best friends. We've done everything together, a partnership, and now we're BFF. And but she really is the wind under my wing. She said, "Don't say I'm your wind," but under the wings. So yes, she really is. So we're a great team, and we're lucky to have each other.
Team. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks.
So what are some of the learnings?
Give back. Well, you go back to, you say, I put down there the mirror effect. You know, as my kids have been growing up, I've taught them that. I said, look, life's like a mirror. You'll get back what you put in. Sound a bit like Forrest Gump, but I mean, it's that sort of thing. You know, you actually, the more you give out, it's like we did a test one time. We were walking from Broadbeach to surfers along the beach. And I said to Kerry, let's just nod our heads to people, and they nod back. And then you say, morning, and they say, oh, good morning. And then you say, nice day, isn't it? Oh, it's a fantastic day. You know, like you get back to, most people will give it back to you, what you give out. And anyway, giving back, I think, is, everyone knows what that is. You can't take, so you've got to give sometime. And obviously, power of networking. Well, we're all networking now, and I think that should be a never-ending thing. Balance in life, yeah. Look, that's probably one of the biggies, I'd say. Balance in life, you know, like how you balance work and pleasure. I think it's pretty hard. And some people might have... Does Vac Ubel still talk? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's one of the best talkers.
We're going to have to get you back in platinum so you know what's going on.
Well, you'll see something down the bottom there.
We were talking about this before, was old memories, so we'll chat about it in a minute.
Vac Ubel, if anyone's heard Vac, you know, he's a very sort of a dry sort of sense of humour, but he's such a clever man, and the way he presents, he just sort of talks about something and then he'll pick someone in the audience and just look at them, and then he'll walk on. He's so funny, but where his advice, you know, he put these stickers up on the wall and it said 10 times, and everyone's sort of thinking, what's that? And his advice was, slow the game down and ask 10 times more questions. So whether it's in a negotiation or anything at all, you've got a problem, ask more questions. If somebody else has got a problem, ask them questions. And it's probably some of the best advice I've had in the last 6 or 7 years.
He comes and speaks at Platinum every year, still.
Yeah? The other one, the bottom one there, that's where I've learnt to use Dimpner's 21-day challenge. Again, a lot of people out here may have done that 21-day challenge.
Only the Platinums. I haven't put it out anywhere else.
One of the best things I've ever done. You know, we did that probably 5 years ago, and I think we went on a trip to Bali, and I was lucky enough to win that challenge with the Flying Dock.
Was.
Yeah. There's two days that I wanted to pick out of that 21 days. It's basically challenging you, not just on a... Well, it's really challenging, put it that way. Asking you to do things that might be hypothetical, might be a little bit woo-woo and that sort of stuff, but that was okay. I didn't mind that. I gave it a go, didn't I?
You did.
I did.
I was very proud of you.
I'm a little bit of a sceptical person, and, you know, so I sort of think of... there was 2 days. One was Gratitude Day.
Yep.
And it basically said, watch how contagious gratitude is when you give it out. It just comes back at you in droves. If you're grateful for little things, it's a real pleasure to see it coming back at you. The other day that I remember was day 19. Do you remember what day 19?
I think I do.
Yeah, it's called Nature Day. And it's the day when this can't be confirmed, but that could have been the day that Dimpner may or may not have convinced me to hug a tree. Can't be confirmed.
You sure there's no photos?
That's you talk. Yep. No, that was a fantastic challenge.
So what were some of the mistakes then you feel you've made along the way?
Well, the analysis paralysis, I've heard it about 4 or 5 times, and I think it's so true. You know, like we missed out on a lot of deals, lots and lots of deals, but that's the way it is. You know, it's probably better to be over-analysing rather than under-analysing.
As long as you take action in the end.
Yeah, I guess so, yep. And the bottom one there is I shouldn't have left Platinum. It was a pretty good 2 years. Had a lot of fun and learnt a fair bit about what's inside rather than just real estate.
And friends.
Heaps of friends, heaps, yeah. That's one of the best things.
And that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about. And I hope Pete doesn't mind me saying it, because he did say to me at the back if I forget, and I know you weren't quite finished, but Kerry and Pete said to me yesterday, and they were in some of my years of Platinum, so it was absolutely fantastic to be able to catch up with Pete again, and they're the sort of friendships we have. And I remember ringing Pete the other night, and he said, "Can I still bring me thongs? I'll bring the good ones." and I said, "Well, look, we've got a bit of a camera crew. You know, it's a little bit more formal than than the Platinum we were up at Sunshine Coast." So, but he did want to make sure that everyone knew that as much as he wanted to share, you felt like you wanted to share, didn't you? It wasn't for the prize. It's not for.
No.
I mean, please feel free to vote for him. But the point was you felt like you wanted to share. You just felt like a need to get it out there, didn't you? Because it's been a long time since we did Platinum together, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So you just felt like you wanted to share and get it out there.
I said to Kerry, I said, I really don't know why I put this here to come up on stage and do all this. I still don't have a real reason except to say, well, there, it's done. You know, we're out of that hole, and now we've done something, and it's taken
and
about...
it's being an inspiration for others.
Well, I hope so, because I really, really recommend, I keep repeating it, that you need to have a look at this strategy. If you've got areas where you can do a childcare centre, have a look, because it's you can see. If I would have done factories, if I would have done 4 factories, those would have probably returned about maybe $110,000 a year, and the childcare centre's $190, and it costs less to build. But when you see a 650 square metre slab laid down, it's a big area. It's pretty big.
Yeah. So your final results then? Passive income of 190,000 plus a little bit of a mortgage on that of 76 gives you 114 positive plus, that works out to $2,000 a week. You can live on that.
Yeah. Well, I can at the moment, but I mean, I'll keep going. I mean, it's.
But obviously, your equity's gone up as well.
Oh, huge! You know, we were. I still look at those numbers and I think, wow, that's not bad. That's only like 2 projects, and I hear of so many other projects. I'm thinking I'm up here a little bit inadequate, but at the end of the day, I guess it's all about numbers, and it was good fun doing it. You know,
well, to go from 104 minus to 114 after the mortgage positive, and to go from 2 properties at 700,000, so 1.4 to what have we got there, 3.36, and increasing at least by $100,000 a year. Yeah,
it's great, but it's amazing that it was only like 3 years. You know, like it's basically 3 years.
Hugging that tree was worth it, wasn't it?
I hugged one the other morning.
So what advice would you give to people?
Well, like I've said.
The gorgeous couple sitting there.
Look, learn. It's simple as that. You know, like if even a couple of people think, I'm going to go and have a look at childcare centre, that's great. You know, because we learn from you, and we also learn from each other, and I think that's a good thing. And maybe develop a childcare centre. I'm happy to do a JV with anyone on a childcare centre. A sales pitch.
Well, good on you, Peter.
Thank you, Dimna.
Thank you also, Kerry. Congratulations.
So what did you think of that? Pretty cool, huh? Would you like to get those kind of results? Would you like to be, living on that kind of income and passive income? I'm sure you would. And, it can happen really, really quickly. How does it happen? It happens through education. Because if you're not in a community of like-minded individuals who are all out there doing things, making things happen, getting results, if you're in a situation where everyone's just kind of, the world sucks and it's not happening for them, then you've got to make a change. And the change is to get yourself educated. Education is the one thing that overcomes fear, it overcomes obstacles, it overcomes procrastination, everything that you can possibly think of as an excuse. It's actually education that'll work you through that. And being in a group of like-minded individuals only adds to the effect. So here's my gift for you. If you want results like Peter, then I'm going to offer you a free 45-minute consultation with one of my coaches. So there you go. We're going to go through where you're at, what your goals are, what you want to achieve, and perhaps the process that you need to go through and outline a path for you that can actually achieve those results for you. Now, I've allocated some coaches that have been with me for a very long time. They really know the ropes. They really be able to help you personally with your situation. So what you've got to do is go to www.iloverealestate.tv/apply. And you'll see some appointment times there that you can book in for a free 45-minute consultation with one of my coaches. I know it's going to help you enormously. And that's why I'm doing this, because we're coming into a time economically where we really need to take advantage of the market. We need to take advantage of where we're at in the market cycle. So remember again, www.iloverealestate.tv/apply. Get yourself a free appointment. I know it's going to be enormously beneficial for you. So 45 minutes for free with one of my coaches reviewing your situation and what you can do to achieve the goals. Make sure you attend the appointment knowing what your goals are. Where do you want to be in 2 to 5 years' time? It's going to be really crucial for you. And I hope to see you again around the trap somewhere. So bye for now. Bye now.